In today's video, we are going to cover the chapter summary of chapter 5, The Rich Invent Money. Chapter summary. Robert gives two contrasting examples. First, the story of Alexander Graham Bell being overwhelmed by demand for 100k dollar. Western Union didn't see the opportunity and turned him down, and a multi-billion dollar industry emerged. The second example is the TV news reporting on the downsizing at a local company, and one terminated manager begging in front of cameras and to get his job back. He had just bought a house and was terrified to lose it. Fear and self-doubt are in all of us. Robert has been teaching professionally since 1984 and has seen it in thousands of individuals and in himself. We all have tremendous potential and we all have self-doubt. Courage can make the difference in leading a successful life. Robert said that as a teacher it broke his heart to see students who knew the answers but were afraid to act on them. Financial genius requires technical knowledge as well as courage. Take risk, be bold, let your genius convert that fear into power and brilliance. Advice that will terrify some because so many play it safe when it comes to their money. There are many chances ahead of in our world, and developing your financial IQ allows you to see that fortune of change through the lens of excitement, not dread. You will see the opportunities and act on them, as opposed to those who allow their fear to keep them on the sideline, watching others move boldly forward. Land was wealth 300 years ago. Later, wealth was in factories and production. Today, wealth is in information, but information flies around the world at the speed of light, and changes will be faster and more dramatic. There will be a dramatic increase in the number of new multimillionaires. There also will be those who are left behind. Some clinch to old friends, and when they struggle, blame technologies or the economy. What they fail to see is that old ideas are the biggest liabilities. An idea or way of doing something that may have been an asset yesterday isn't today. Robert gives an example of a woman who came to a class he was teaching using a board game he had invented cash flow. The game teaches people how money works and about the interaction of the income statement with the balance sheet. Some people love the game, some hate it, and others miss the point. The woman in his example struggled to see that things she would normally think of as an asset, such as a boat, negatively affect her cash flow. She pulled a number of challenging cards and had a terrible game. In the end, she was angry and demanded a refund, refusing to see how the game reflected her. Games are a powerful way to teach as they reflect behavior and an instant feedback system. Later, Robert got an update on the upset woman. She had calmed down and started seeing a slight relationship between the game and her life, a life in which she had never paid attention to her and her ex-husband's finances, and she had burned because of it. The purpose of the cash flow game is to teach players to think and create new and various financial options. Some do this easily, others struggle. Those who have creative financial minds escape the rat race the fastest. Some playing the game have lots of money but don't know what to do with it. That's true in life as well. Some playing the game complain that the right cards are not coming their way and just sit there. Some get a great opportunity card but don't have the money to act on it, and others have the money, get a great card, and don't see it for the opportunity it is. All of these behaviors happen in real life too. Financial intelligence is simply having more options, figuring out ways to create opportunities, or altering situations to work in your favor. Luck is credited, so go create yours. Money, which isn't real by the way, but just what we agree it is, it's our greatest asset. Our mind is train it well. Millions can be made from nothing more than ideas and agreements. Putting money away each month is a sound idea, but it can blind you to what is really going on and cause you to miss opportunities for much more significant growth. In the early 1990s, the economy in Phoenix was terrible. Robert and Kim capitalized on that, investing in real estate. He gave an example of buying a home worth $75,000 for $25,000, using $2,000 as a down payment that a friend had loaned him for $200. While the purpose was being processed, he ran an ad advertising a $75,000 for only $60,000 and no money down. As soon as the house was legally his, he sold it in minutes. Everyone was happy, and $40,000 was credited from money in Robert's asset. column in the form of a promissory note from the buyer at 10% interest. $4,000 a year in cash flow is added to income. Total working time 5 hours, and if the buyer eventually can't pay, they will simply take the house back and resell it. The math still beats saving after tax money each month. It's legal. The escrow company handles the servicing of the payments. Robert and Kim don't have to deal with fixing roofs or toilets because the buyer owns the house. A few later years, a few years later, the Phoenix market strengthened, and it wasn't worth their time to ferret out the deals, so they moved on. Market conditions may be different when you are, so this strategy may not work for you. But this example illustrates how a simple financial process can create hundreds of thousands of dollars with little money and low risk. It is an example of money being only an agreement. Would you rather work hard, pay taxes, and save from what's left with any growth also being taxed, or take the time to develop your financial intelligence? Markets go up and down, and investment come and go. The world is always handling you opportunities of a lifetime. You simply need to be able to see them. Robert shares another example of buying a house for $45,000 in a depressed market in Portland, Oregon, and renting it out for very little profit. But a year later the market picked up and he sold it for $95,000, reinvesting the capital gains into a 12 unit $300K apartment house in Beaverton, Oregon. 2 years later that was sold and the profit put into a 30 unit $875K apartment building in Phoenix. A few years later an investor offered $1.2 million, 12 lakh dollar, for the property. It is an example of how a small amount of money can grow into a large amount. The more you develop your financial intelligence, which takes time, the more opportunities will be offered to you. Robert's philosophy is to plant seeds in his assets column. Start small and plant seeds. Grow, some don't. Some grow into millions from little investments. Robert and Kim also have a stock portfolio where they buy high risk speculative private companies that are just about to go public. It's a risk, but the more you develop your financial intelligence, the lower the risk becomes. The smarter you are, the better your chances of beating the odds. Some may argue that there are not real estate bargains where they are, but Robert said there are prime opportunities everyone that are overlooked. Most people are not trained financially to recognize the opportunities in front of them. As you develop your financial IQ and begin to put it into practices, remember to have fun. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but always have fun. Don't be afraid of losing because failure is part of the process of success. There are two kinds of investors: those who buy a packaged investment from a retail outlet, such as a financial planner, and those who create investment. These are also known as professional investors. If you want to be second kind of investor, you must develop three main skills. First, find the opportunities that everyone else missed. Second, raise money. And third, organize smart people and hire those who are with more intelligence than you. There is always risk, so you must learn to manage it rather than avoid it. We have completed the chapter summary of chapter 5. Thank you for watching the video, and let's meet in the next chapter summary. Thank you. Bye bye.